How's it going, everybody? Bryan Alvarez here on Wrestling Observer Live. We are here every day, Monday through Friday, noon Pacific, 3 Eastern, Sundays, 3 Pacific, 6 Eastern, Saturday mornings with Jim Valley, 10 a.m. Pacific, 1 Eastern, Sundays with Andrew Zarian. Oh my God, I'm back. I am back here after a bomb cyclone just destroyed this area here. I got power back last night. And man, a lot's happened since yesterday. We got a new Bryan and Vinny show we managed to get out there. We got Observer Live here today. Lance Storm is going to be joining us. We were supposed to do a show earlier this week, actually. But we had no power. Makes it hard to do a show. So he's going to be here today, along with Mike Sempervive. And if you have not checked out the front page of WrestlingObserver.com yet, yes, Figure 4 Weekly returned for 1 week only to replace the Observer as Dave was taking a vacation. What a week for a vacation, by the way. He was in Hawaii. So head up there after this show. Read Figure 4 Weekly while you still can. Could be the end. Who knows? Or maybe it'll be back again someday. But anyway, it is Friday, and that means it is Fun Friday. So we're going to have fun today. Dang it. One way or the other. We'll talk about the news and etc. We'll take your text messages. And later in the show, maybe, we'll open up those phone lines. For now, if you want to text 425-780-7566 is the phone number. That is 425-780-7566. F4WOnline@gmail.com is the email address. You can also follow me on Threads, Instagram, and yes, you can get a cameo at F4WOnline. And I am up on Twitter/X at Bryan Alvarez. I think I'm on this Blue Sky as well, if you look for Bryan Alvarez. Apparently there's some, imposters up there. But Bryan Alvarez, I think, is me. I'm the one with more followers than like 3 people. So check it out. Back in a moment. Observer Live. Yes, we're back here on the show. Bryan Alvarez here, Wrestling Observer Live. Mike Sempervive, also of WrestlingObserver.com, held down the fort the last couple of days. I think. I don't know. I don't know what's going on. I
showed up.
I couldn't do anything. Except type 30 pages yesterday afternoon. Can you believe that?
Yeah, and still left out the Frank A. Gotch flying air
No, I didn't.
Newsletter.
To the end.
Oh, good.
You didn't even scroll down?
No, why?
Oh, you idiot. It's at the very end. What about you, Lance? What are you doing?
I've been shoveling snow. We've got 10 to 12 inches of snow up here, so I'm dealing with winter.
That sucks. Why don't we all move to, like, Mars? What are we doing here?
Oh, no.
I'd rather visit Dave in Hawaii. Mars is a tough trans.
He sent me a text going, not sure I'll be back by Saturday. There might be travel issues. I was like, how's this a problem, bro? I'd be happy to be stranded in Hawaii.
Really?
I have to miss an AEW pay-per-view? Trust me, I could figure out how to watch in Hawaii. Oh, God. Might be stranded in Hawaii. No one gets stranded in Hawaii. Do you understand? That's ridiculous. I'm looking at our video here. We got multiple heads up and down cut. I've been gone so long, I don't know what's going on anymore.
It's Fun Friday!
It is Fun Friday. God, we got SmackDown tonight. That should be fun, right?
It's Electricity Friday.
Is there a Rampage tonight? I'm not watching Rampage anymore.
Yes, there's a Rampage tonight.
Okay,
no Collision.
We've removed a Rampage from the weekend viewing. It is now SmackDown and Collision on the Sunday Bryan and Vinny show. So that's a change. Although this weekend we will be reviewing the Full Gear show, which we can talk about here. There's actually a lot of news, believe it or not, here on Fun Friday. But they've added a couple things to this AEW pay-per-view. Paul Walter Hauser is now going to be on the pre-show panel with Renee, Jeff Jarrett, and RJ City. So if you were kind of on the fence, well, now we got that added.
The MLW fan is now greatly interested.
But I think the most notable thing, I don't want to start off with a complaint, but like, when I found out that they announced Ricochet versus Takeshita for the international title at 9:30 p.m. Eastern on Thursday night on Twitter, my head just went... They announced this on, it was like a bomb cyclone. They announced it on Twitter at 9:30 Eastern on Thursday night. Takeshita versus Ricochet for the AEW International title. Was there a reason they couldn't announce this on the show on Wednesday? Was it in doubt, this match? I don't know what's going on.
We needed to save time for the Rizzler being the ring bellboy.
That's actually important, Mike. It's funny you mentioned that. They spent time on Dynamite to alert us that the Rizzler was going to be part of the pre-show match with Big Boom AJ versus QT Marshall. The Rizzler was advertised on the show Wednesday, but Takeshita versus Ricochet for the AEW International title was not announced till Thursday at 9:30 Eastern on Twitter.
Well, to be fair, during the first match, it's not like you would have had any idea that they were going to have a match for the title, considering that whole thing revolved completely around Will Ospreay and Kyle Fletcher.
Well, anyway, that's announced. Plus, we got Jon Moxley versus Orange Cassidy for the AEW title. Mercedes versus Chris Statlander for the TBS title. Jack Perry versus Daniel Garcia for the TNT title. The diabolical heel Jack Perry fighting valiantly from underneath against a number of baby faces who destroyed his property.
I need to have Lance make that make sense to me.
Hey,
the entire storyline.
Not possible. Will Ospreay versus Kyle Fletcher, which should be worth the price of admission alone. Jay White and Hangman Page, which should be very good. Bobby Lashley versus Swerve. MJF and Roderick Strong. Mariah May and Mina Shirakawa having a champagne celebration. That ain't going to end well for Mariah May. Private Party, the Outrunners, House of Black, and the Acclaimed four-way for the tag team titles. And yes, on 0 Hour, Big Boom AJ will face QT Marshall. And I'm sure more to be added. So that's the lineup for the show. Lance, you following any of this or no?
I keep tabs on what's going on. I don't follow it closely, but it's an AEW pay-per-view. It's like it's going to be good. There's always good matches on them, but yeah, there's some head shaking going on with some of this, and I still don't know who Big Boom AJ and the Rizzler are.
Well, I know they have Costco's up there.
We do have Costco's.
Because Tim Flowers' manager was like a big shot at Costco. That's why he got that cane and got to hit everybody back then in the day. But yes, I guess, Big Boom AJ. And then his kid. What's his kid's name?
Turtle.
You can see the age of all of the hosts here on this program. Although, you know what? I am going to give him credit. Give him credit. I don't know if credit is the right word, but Big Justice. Big Justice. I should have known.
Big Justice.
I should have known. But I will give them this, okay? I presume that if they would have actually announced Takeshita versus Ricochet for the international title on Dynamite, it would have gotten a pop. However, I will say that when they announced the Rizzler was going to be part of this match, it got a big pop in the building. And it was not a night with, like, a great crowd. The Rizzler got one of the biggest pops on the entire Dynamite show. So
it's not a good thing, is it?
Hey, maybe it is, dude. He's on the pre-show.
Nah,
you get people watching that for the Riz.
And then he gets stolen by WWE, and they do the act
that'll
up
happen.
There. Well,
that'll happen.
Look.
Or these guys will get a big AEW deal to not do anything. One or the other.
The thing is, they sent out a big press release about it and everything, and good. You know, they should be promoting it. If they're doing a tie-in with somebody that they feel as though can help them, great. Go ahead and do that. But also, you know, it's the minor part of the deal as well, too. Whereas, yes, I probably would have paid more attention to Takeshita and Ricochet than that, as well as other things, but that's what they decided to do. Where they placed those segments was interesting either, considering how comedic they were compared to some of the heavy stuff that was supposedly going on around it.
Sky here says, who the F is the Rizzler? Here's the thing. It doesn't matter if you know who the Rizzler is. If the Rizzler brings in an audience, and it's a success. You guys know who Danny Go is? Probably most of you don't. Man, that brother Drew here in Seattle. I was there. He's a YouTuber that does songs for kids. I talked about this on the show. Where were you? But anyway.
Yeah, I find myself as a 55-year-old man often asking my kids when celebrities are announced, it's like, is this anybody? And
Yeah.
I judge their star power by whether my kids know them or not.
Hey, this guy says we should ask AI, so let's do that.
Oh, no.
Who is the Rizzler? Let's see what it says here. Okay, maybe it'll say. I haven't quite figured out how to make it say the words to me yet. The term Rizzler is often used on social media and among younger audiences as a playful nickname for someone with a lot of rizz, slang for charisma or charm, especially when it comes to flirting or attracting others. If you're asking about a specific Rizzler, let me know and I can help refine the context. So ChatGPT is too old.
Well, no, it needs specifics, apparently, with all these other Rizzlers there that might be around online.
I got it. You know who's a Rizzler? Hanalei. Just don't tell her.
I guarantee you, I've never been accused of being a Rizzler.
You are not a Rizzler.
No.
You're a, what would be the word for Lance? What's the opposite of, like, charisma?
Oh, will
Curmudgeon?
you stop?
He's the one who said it. He's the mudgeler.
The mudgeler.
Yeah.
The muddler.
The mudgeler. Figure 4 daily with the mudgeler, Lance Storm. That's not bad, actually. That's not bad.
Good.
Well, it's not good, but it's not bad. It's just there.
Look, if it draws an audience, I think we have determined that today, then it will be good.
Brother, we got a lot of mudgelers listening right now. I can just tell. I look at the chat, and we got nothing but mudgelers.
For the
We
first time
need to
in
get
me
more
doing
Rizzlers.
For the first time me ever doing a show with you, my dog just got up and left the room.
Wow. Wow.
Can you teach Dave's dog to do that for Wrestling Observer Radios?
I want to send out a plug, by the way. IWE Pro Wrestling Kings of Controversy. They got a live event Saturday.
IWE?
Yeah, tomorrow, November 23rd at the Legion in Augusta, Georgia. And you can check them out and follow along. IWE Pro Wrestling, Augusta, Georgia. Back in a moment, Observer Live. Back in the show, Bryan Alvarez here, Wrestling Observer Live. Mike Sempervive, also of WrestlingObserver.com. Thanks to everybody who checked in when the power was out. It sucked. I managed to have a generator for the freezer outside, so I didn't lose all my grass-fed beef that I just bought. But man, the freezer is empty. Every last single thing had to be thrown out of that fridge. It's just gone. Starting over again.
Yeah.
I went to the store and spent a whopping $60 on groceries. I refuse to spend any more because we might have another storm blowing in today. And I was like, why would I spend a lot of money now? It's ridiculous.
What did that buy you, like 4 things?
I got like bacon, eggs, and...
Toilet paper?
Well, that didn't go bad in the... Talk about food, dude. I had to throw out food.
Well, if you lived up here, you could just leave everything outside.
That's true. I was actually hoping it was cold enough outside that I didn't have to mess with that generator and everything.
Yeah, but then you'd have to worry about varmints, wouldn't you?
Varmints?
Stealing the food outside?
No, the freezer's outside in the... I just opened the garage door, and it's basically outside. It's an outdoor freezer. So I was hoping it was cold enough outside to keep the food cold. But it wasn't. See a picture of Max there. Well, for the majority of international viewers, WWE Network closed for business January 1st, 2025, as WWE moves to Netflix. So a lot of people have been asking about this. So, weekly episodes of Raw, SmackDown, NXT will be available for international Netflix subscribers, as well as premium live events. Archives, however, many of WWE's top moments, along with historic PLEs and select programming, will be available on Netflix beginning January 1st.
Boo.
So all of you that threw out all your videotapes, oh, man, can't undo that one, brother. Now, as far as, because I've had people asking about this because we've been reviewing Mid-South, like what's going to happen? Well, if you're an international, if you're following along internationally, I shouldn't even mention this because maybe they won't be for long, but they are available on YouTube, all of them. So that's an option. But other than that, I don't know what to tell you. In the U.S., the Peacock deal runs until 2026. So we've got all next year, we're still good. After that, who the heck knows? So
I can't believe that it won't be a bargaining chip. And maybe they've already dedicated that to Netflix on the sly, and maybe it all goes over there for the amount of money that Netflix has given them for the next 10 years, but it's the only bargaining chip that they really have left until their TV deals run out, and in the case of the Netflix Raw one, that's going to be 10 years. So how else do you drum up interest? What else do you have that you can sell? Well, the thing that you have that you can sell is, one, you have Fight Pass, which right now is an ESPN thing, but the other big thing you have is the WWE Network. And will Peacock want to keep that? Will there be a bidding war for that? The way things are going, there's probably going to be interest from more than one suitor, so why wouldn't you try to go ahead and try to pimp that thing?
Well, here's what's going to be weird about this. So, obviously, Netflix is going to be getting Raw, SmackDown, and the PLEs. So my guess is that once the Peacock deal ends, it's going to be, I don't know. I mean, is Netflix going to be the exclusive provider of Raw, SmackDown, NXT, and the PLEs? If that's the case, what kind of deal are you going to get to sell the network to Peacock, but you don't get any of the good stuff? You only get historical archives. Is anybody going to want that? I don't know. Netflix is not going to put everything up that was on Peacock. I just don't think that's possible. I mean, they already cycle in movies in and out. I mean, you want to watch Ghostbusters? Maybe you can watch it, maybe you can't. I don't know. So they're not going to be putting up like 15,000 hours of WWE. So I don't know what the future is going to be of this. It's
the future.
Enjoy it while you can.
The future might be WWE Vault. It may just be as simple as that, where everything that they have digitized already maybe goes online, or they choose to put different things online and roll them out that way. I think the days of, seeing an entire library or catalog up there are gone, which is really unfortunate considering we didn't get championship wrestling from Florida. We didn't get a ton of stuff that people know that they have in their archives. It was a matter of, was it worth them converting it and putting it up and having it draw an audience, which apparently it didn't.
So that's the update on that. They sent out a letter to subscribers talking about everything. Signed it sincerely.
How else are they supposed to sign it?
Tough
Yours
luck.
truly.
The WWE Network. All right, the Dynamite show on Wednesday, 640,000 viewers and a .20. I think that NXT beat them in total viewership. I actually don't have the NXT numbers in front of me. But, I mean, to me, that is not the most notable thing about the difference between NXT and Dynamite. The big difference between NXT and Dynamite, quite frankly, was each of their main event segments. The main event of Dynamite was Orange Cassidy, who's facing Jon Moxley for the title coming up at the pay-per-view. And there's just no heat for that match. There's no heat. And they I can't even say they went 50-50. Like, Wheeler took most of the match. Orange beat him with a flash cradle, which I have no earthly idea why they booked that, because nobody believes Orange has beaten Moxley. Like, what are you doing with that? And then Moxley comes in and his crew just destroys Orange because Orange had asked all of his friends to not come out and help. So he got killed. And I'm just watching it and maybe it'll be awesome at the pay-per-view, but it did not have big time main event pay-per-view preview heat. And then on the other show, that freaking Andre Chase versus Ridge Holland with Chase U on the line was like, those NXT fans, it was like a WrestleMania main event. Like 2/3 of them have all the Chase U stuff on. It's like Ridge Holland, who a year ago, when he first came back to NXT, that guy couldn't get heat to save his life. Now he's the hottest heel in the entire company. Andre Chase was like the biggest babyface. These fans are going freaking crazy for this match. Just going crazy. For Andre Chase versus Ridge Holland. So anyway, that was the big thing to me. It's just crazy. The emotional reaction from the crowd to the main events of these two shows was absolutely, completely night and day. And the Dynamite number, actually, it was all right. The reason, like last week's show did a little bit better, And this week's show did virtually exactly the same, except the last half hour of the show, it was below average. And that was the Jericho contract signing with Ishii, which was just long. I mean, it was funny, but it was long. And then when it was over, the beginning of the Orange Wheeler match, that match started way below average for a Dynamite main event, but it did grow for the overrun, which doesn't always happen. So, yeah, man, it was just night and day, the two main events of those shows.
For the record, though, guys, if we're ever together and I'm getting the holy bejesus beaten out of me, I would like my friends to help.
Yeah, because, you know, if you didn't see the show, you know, Orange gave a speech, and he was like, I want to go out there and do this alone. And the other guys, like Mark Briscoe's like the voice of reason. He's like, dude, why would you do that? Moxley already said he's bringing everybody out there. Like, why? And so Orange blows his stack at everybody, and he screams, don't come out. Trust me on this. And so, like, now that the show's over, I don't know why they were supposed to trust him, because he got beat down, and he had no plan. He was just beaten down and just killed.
And they still had to come save Asari Butt.
They saved him afterwards.
Stand up and stare off into the distance at Moxley. I don't know if that did much to sell his chances of defeating Moxley or be a reason that anyone cares at the pay-per-view.
I hope you put over that main event of NXT, Mike, when I was gone. Did you not?
I did.
Okay.
Why don't you go back and listen?
I didn't have any power.
Why don't you go back and listen?
Well, I'll see what I can do, but I'm busy now. I got to catch up on stuff.
I understand.
You understand? I got shows. I couldn't do an After Dark last night. Let down the people.
Well,
he's got $60 worth of groceries to put away.
Yeah, I got $60 worth of groceries I got to sort out in that fridge.
oh man.
I gotta pray for this next one not to come in. Anyway, tonight's SmackDown. I don't know what's going on in Rampage. Normally I write these down, but I didn't do it here. So I don't know what's going on. But I know SmackDown has a Cody Rhodes, Kevin Owens face-to-face. And in the Women's U.S. Championship Tournament first round, they're all three ways until we get to the next round. Bianca, Chelsea, and Blair Davenport. That is the tournament match. I don't think they've added anything else. I could be wrong. I've not been keeping track of all of my lineups here. And that, of course, leads to Survivor Series, which is in Vancouver. Are you going, Lance? Not that far away.
No,
isn't that also in Canada? No? Okay.
So they're going to have Chelsea win in Vancouver?
This show's not in Vancouver.
Ah.
Yes.
No, I mean the final.
Is the final on that? I don't think... Is the final on that show? I think the final's at Saturday night's main event, isn't it?
Oh, okay.
I don't remember.
You gotta check the lineup.
I'm a little behind, everybody. Hey, if you want to give us a call, 1-800-878-PLAY. 1-800-878-7529. Help me out here, everybody. Back in a moment, Observer Live. In the show, Bryan Alvarez here, Wrestling Observer Live. Mike Sempervive, also WrestlingObserver.com. It's Fun Friday here on the show.
Lance is here, too?
Yeah, Lance is here. You want to ask a question to Lance? Do you have a question you could ask Lance that hasn't been asked 1,000 times? Like, how did you like having that gimmick where your ding-dong was oversized?
The human tripod.
If you've got a good one, if you've got a good question, 1-800-878-PLAY, 1-800-878-7529. Questions for me, Mike, Lance. It's Fun Friday here. Hey, you can text us as well, 425-780-7566. I actually should look around in these text messages. Haven't done some of those for a while. But let us know what's on your mind, and away we go. Michael in Rochester actually is on the air. Michael, what's going on?
Hey, how you doing, Brian and Mike and Lance? Thank you for taking my call. I know you, Brian, have been struggling to find stuff to review on Peacock because they haven't uploaded anything new and all, but I actually have found something. There's a thing on YouTube, you probably heard of it, called WWE Vault, where they, like, upload stuff, and there is one specific one. It's called WWF Super Tape. It came out early in 1990. And the main event on the show was the steel cage match between Hulk Hogan and Brutus Beefcake against the Macho Man and Zeus. is from the No Holds Barred match in a movie thing that they did that year, late '89. But there's 2 segments that I guarantee you and Vinny would get a kick out of. About 20 minutes in, I'll tell you, like at the timestamp. 20 minutes in, there's Mean Gene Okerlund interviewing the Bushwhackers out in the desert. It is everything you can imagine. Like, it was Gene Okerlund at his best, and the Bushwhackers being the Bushwhackers. It was awesome. And then the other one was at about 1 hour and 35 minutes into it. They were previewing the Hulk Hogan Ultimate Warrior WrestleMania 6 from that upcoming year in the Sky Dome. And they interviewed fans about who they like more, Hulk Hogan or the Ultimate Warrior. And I guarantee you, especially Vinny, would love this segment with all his heart. These fans have more charisma than any wrestler in AEW except for maybe MJF.
Wow.
It's fantastic. So I'm telling you, you watch this and review it, and you will not be disappointed, I promise you.
Well, I want to thank you very much for the call. The question is, are these fans more charismatic than the Rizzler? Hey, listen, I don't know if I had that one, but I had a WWF Super Tapes when I was a kid. And they were all thrown away because, of course, the WWE Network came along, and now it's gone.
Finding those in video stores were a joy as a kid.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I remember those video stores, like, you know, they would have, most of the VHS would be in like a cardboard sleeve or whatever, but every now and then you'd have a few of them that were in the big plastic case that opened like a book, and it was like, oh, man, that's the good stuff right there. That one comes in a big plastic case. Yeah. This person here says, oh, my God. I have a friend who lives near Bothell. She went through the same thing. She said that when the heater came on last night, she was going to make out with it all night. Did you do the same? I did not, but it took 4 hours to heat this house up because the temperature dropped all the way down to 56 degrees. And actually, it might have been lower than that, but 56 was when I looked at the thingamajigger, that, you know, the thermostat, and the heat had been on for a little while because I was not home when it came on. I found out it came on because I've got a Google Home that does like the internet throughout the house, and it always sends me some alert when something goes wrong, which is frequent. And I suddenly realized my internet was on, so I thought, oh my God, the power must be on. So it took me about 20 minutes to get home, and by the time I got home, it was at 56 degrees. So it might have been lower than that when the heat finally turned on. But yeah, it sucked.
Yeah. Not only did the power go out and the power company is working at its own pace to turn it back on for you, then that heat's got to kick on, and I'm sure you were in auxiliary heat all the time until it got back up to 66, 68. Actually, for you, what, 74? What do you keep it in that house?
No, it's about 70. 74. If I put it 74 in the house, it'd be 300 degrees in the studio.
I wish it was the beach.
I haven't had a chance to see yet. What were the quarter hours of the November Rain music video on Collision? I know I personally turned the show off before the music video started because the show felt like it was over. I didn't care to stick around for 10 more minutes. Wonder if anyone else did as well. To the point of them not properly advertising that it was going to end the show, I wasn't listening to commentary too hard. I probably missed them advertise. Actually, you didn't. They didn't mention it on commentary. That's the point. But yes, Brandon Thurston did put up the Collision quarters. And if I recall correctly, didn't do anything. Yeah, the Collision quarters, I mean, literally it was exactly the same as it is every week. If you look at like, because he's got the quarter hours, but he's also got the average, and it was exactly at average. It didn't grow, it didn't fall.
It was a straight line, pretty much.
It was just there.
You know what they are getting, though? They are getting, as slight as they are, they're getting a little bump up hour 1 into hour 2, and then at the end of the show, which they have not been doing with any sort of regularity. So whether it keeps up or not, we'll find out. But that's not a bad thing when that, you know, that first to second hour increase, you kind of want to have that, including the increase at the end.
All right, 1-800-878-PLAY, 1-800-878-7529. Brandon in Virginia Beach is on the air. What's up, Brandon?
What's up, y'all? Happy Fun Friday. My question, what was that article or something about Toni Storm supposedly retiring? I know she's not retiring, obviously, but there was so much talk about it. And my question is, do you think she's winning that title back when they go to Australia in that Australian show for AEW? So, yeah, thanks for taking my call.
Thank you very much for the call there, Brandon. Sounds like he got hit with a bomb cyclone in the middle of that call. Guys, listen. So I was driving to the post office. Clearly, we have nothing to talk about here today. I was driving to the post office.
And listening to Wrestling Observer Live when I was talking about what that whole
No,
story.
because the power was out.
Oh, okay.
I was driving to the post office, the power was out. And I got a bunch of mail, because I hadn't been there for a while, including stuff that they put in those electronic boxes. Well, guess what doesn't open when there's no power?
What's that?
The electronic boxes. So I drove out there for nothing. I was infuriated. So I get in the car, and I got a message. What the heck's going on with Toni Storm? And so I responded, what do you mean? And they said, she's retiring immediately? Of course, my first thought was, oh no, that usually means like some serious health issue. So without even like looking around, I just like texted somebody in AEW, and I felt like a fool afterwards.
Lol.
They're like, what are you talking about, you idiot?
Nerd.
So then I find out, oh, she was doing a press tour, and like totally in character talking about you'll never I was like, oh my God.
You mark.
So anyway, here's the story, everybody. She is not retiring, okay?
She is good at kayfabe.
No, she's not. I mean,
Well.
I don't know how anybody listened to this interview and thought she was retiring. So, yes, she is back, I'm sure, this weekend during the Champagne celebration. She will be champion, I'm sure, sooner rather than later. I don't know if they'll wait till Australia. Maybe they will, maybe they won't. But, come on.
Why do you believe that she is dead set to come back? I mean, wouldn't this be the time to have Mariah turn on Mina or do something nefarious to her that makes people want to have Toni Storm come
Brother,
back?
why wouldn't you do that on television? Like, this is a pay-per-view. They're giving a pay-per-view segment to a Champagne celebration.
Maybe somebody's
There's
gonna
no
shake-
way Toni is not returning.
Maybe somebody's going to shake out of their top. You don't know.
No, I do know. Do you want me to ask Lenny? Because whatever Lenny says, you know it's going to be the opposite.
Lenny, is
He'll
somebody
probably
gonna
say,
shake out of their
she ain't
top?
going to be here on Saturday.
Oh.
Why would you have Toni Storm return on a pay-per-view in a live segment? That'd be ridiculous. She's going to be there on Saturday. 99% sure. If not, I will be stunned and shocked. This person says, Lance, because he is here.
Mm-hmm.
I always felt that you and Dean Malenko were very similar, but you guys never had a match. Why is that?
We never worked in the same company at the same time until he retired.
You weren't in WCW at the same time? Not even at the very tail end of...
Nope.
Wow.
Radicals had already left because that was one of the deciding factors in me wanting to go to WCW, because there was a void there and there was a glut of talent in WWE. With so many people leaving, I thought I might have a better opportunity there, so I missed him. And by the time I got to WWE, he was already off, and shortly thereafter became an agent. His first match as an agent was Hurricane and I on Sunday Night Heat, and he screwed up the finish and put over the wrong guy.
Oops. Well, there's your answer.
Yep. So the match never aired in the U.S. They pulled it.
How about that? All right, let's go to the phones. You're on the air. What's going on? Hello?
Hello?
Yeah, what's up?
Hello?
Going once.
It's Don.
Don, the Don. What the hell's going on? What do you want? What's happening?
Hey. Hey, I'm just calling. You know, I mean, this show is completely devoid of charisma. You don't have the Rizzler. You don't have Twizzlers. You don't have Sizzler. You know, I want a steak, but I got my check from TK, so I just called to terrorize the YouTube chat and say that AEW show tomorrow night is going to be like the best show ever. And I know the YouTube chat is sitting there like typing away, and they're just like, oh, AEW is awful. It's the worst. But guess what? I can't see it because I blocked every single last one of you fools. Ha!
Well, Don to Don, I want to thank you very much for the call, I think.
Being the jizzler onto the chat.
Excuse me? Thank God Dom is gone. He'd be infuriated right now. I think something finally cracked old Lance. All right. What else do we have here? First off, I want to say I'm very happy you made it out safely during the bomb cyclone. Secondly, although your power is out, are you somewhat happy that you could have potentially missed a chance to watch another dreadful Ricochet promo? Well, first off, I watched all the shows. I watched them yesterday. His promos aren't that bad. I think they're fine in AEW. Am I the only one? Is this like a thing that people don't like Ricochet's promos?
Well, I'm certainly not going to bury someone's promos.
It's true.
Well, I mean, he's not a what would be considered a main event talker. He's not. But it's just going to be when he's in that type of situation, is he going to be able to do enough to carry his part of it? And we don't know that yet because he hasn't been put in that situation.
Alrighty. God, everyone's talking about my fridge. It's just so empty right now. I put a picture up for my ex-subscribers. If you ever want to know why should I subscribe to Bryan on X, you can see a picture of my empty fridge after the bomb cyclone. All right, what does this person have to say here? My one prediction for Full Gear is Mariah May smashes a champagne bottle over Mina Shirakawa's head for revenge from when Mina did the same to Mariah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, when she accidentally did that, you remember? Yeah. And then Tony comes out and makes the save.
Didn't she make a comeback from that, too?
A comeback?
It was not very convincing. I do remember that.
All right, back in a moment with more Observer Live. Well, I got a fun fact for you here on Fun Friday.
All right.
Person here sent a text and said, Mike Tyson set a record for the oldest former heavyweight champion to fight in a sanctioned boxing match. Jack Johnson had the old record at 53. Tyson is 58, but he will hold that record for 4 days. Tonight in Nashville, Oliver McCall has a match.
Oh, my God.
He was WBC heavyweight champion in 1992. He is 59 years old.
Oh.
Wow. But I'll bet his opponent isn't 27. Although at the end of the day, hey, Tyson ended up all right. You know, wasn't a disaster. I wouldn't do it again, but they did it, and everything worked out.
Remember Oliver McCall's rematch against Lennox Lewis, where he defended the title and broke down into tears and had a nervous breakdown, causing him to lose the title. I cannot believe at this point he is back out there in the ring, but then again, it's hard to tell fighters to stop fighting.
Well, if you want all of the latest news on that Tyson fight and its effect on professional wrestling, that is the headline story of the new Figure 4 Weekly, available at WrestlingObserver.com. All of the news from all of the major promotions, television reviews, and so much more. 30 pages. I put it all together in an afternoon yesterday. I'm taking credit for that one. So go up there and check it out, please, I beg you, and have a fun weekend. I'll try and do an After Dark of some sort tonight, but the whole thing's all screwed up now. It's just a mess.
The vibe killer.
Well, no, it's like I was supposed to interview someone yesterday and make 2 weeks worth of shows, but I couldn't because I had no power. So now I have nothing for the next 2 weeks, and then the guests come back the week after. So I'll have to figure out something for 2 weeks or not do 2 weeks. Or maybe we'll just go on Observer Live on Byline at some point. Talk to you next time. Thanks, Lance. Thanks, Mike. Wrestling Observer Live.